Okay, welcome to the Bodhicitta Retreat, Series 15. It is a great joy for me to be with all of you here, and it's because of the Venerable Anna Elizabeth and Nico, and then the Capucin, and we have a wonderful translator, Christophe. Okay, so the day one I was there at the Kalachakra Center, Paris, and I got a warm feeling. In fact, I don't want to go into detail because it's always like 9:30, and tomorrow morning we have to get up early morning. So therefore, I like to make it short here. So basically, this Bodhicitta retreat, it was conceived in 2012. 2012, there was one New Zealand girl who initiated this concept, Bodhicitta retreat, and she put all her effort to make it happen, and it was first happened in Karnataka state, in India, South India, in the Hindu ashram, run by my very two good friends, Sudhagarji and Sudhakshanji. So this is how it was conceived. Now this one is the Bodhicitta retreat, series 15. 14 just recently, a few days ago we did in Malaysia, about 10, more than 10. I think about like maybe 15 days ago we did it in Malaysia, the 14, series 14, this is 15. Okay, so to make it quick, the idea is that this Bodhicitta retreat, why we are doing this is that there are many people who are already exposed to Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, on emptiness, bodhicitta, four seals, and so forth, and how to consolidate, how to put them all together, and see how we can practice them on a daily basis. So, for that matter, this Bodhicitta retreat, particularly in the mornings, like say for 2 hours, we'll do the morning practice, and so this will tell us as how to consolidate our practice, whatever you have learned from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, from Lama Subrahmanyam, from all your teachers, how to consolidate. This is going to do particularly in the morning sessions, and then which is going to be very auspicious, very meritorious for all of us, is that we're going to include taking aspirational Bodhisattva vow every morning. This is one thing. So that will give us a feeling that okay, now I can see the purpose of my life. One, and then on top of that, we get the complete picture, more like a panorama of Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, compassion, and all put them together, and to the best we can, we'll understand what the actual Buddha Dharma is. Okay, so this is what we are going to do in the form of collective effort. So meanwhile, the presentations, the discussions, these are primarily going to be more interactive in nature, and of course, if you see that things are not being too clear, you can then raise your hands for clarification and so forth. Okay, and given that we have less number of time, usually we do it for 15 days. 15 days. If we get 15 days, then we can say, at least I feel very happy that we are getting something complete. And then, if not 15 days, then 10 days. 10 days or 9 days. In Malaysia, we did it for 9 days. Where, for sure, the things are going to be more detailed, and you will get time to settle your mind and to settle the understanding that you've learned, and so forth. And if not, then 1 week. 1 week also what we do. Okay, so this is going to be like more than 1 week. And from this, I'll try my best to at least finish what is to be done as a part of the Bodhicitta retreat. Okay, then there are a few preliminaries to be discussed with you. One is making prostrations. Making prostrations, most of you already know that. Still, should there be some who have no idea about the prostrations and so forth, why we prostrate? Why we prostrate? Prostration is the gesture. It's a gesture of showing respect. Gesture of showing respect. And the question is again, why do we have to show respect? This next question. Why do we have to show respect? Okay, respect is indication. Respect, we see that there's a feeling of admiration. Only when you admire somebody, then your respect grows. So only when you admire somebody, then what happens is that you admire in what? You admire the qualities of that. For example, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And what we admire the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is seeing their qualities. Seeing the qualities, primarily 2 qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. These 2 qualities. So you have a tremendous admiration in these 2 qualities. The moment you have the admiration, then what happens is that your receptivity opens. When your receptivity opens, then you imbibe these qualities within yourself. So whole purpose for our Dharma practice, like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of Dharma practice, is to imbibe the qualities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So the best entrance by which to imbibe is to receive these. For that, the receptivity is required. For the receptivity, one of the best ways by which to do so is showing affinity. Showing affinity with the respect. So, this making prostration is a gesture of showing respect in order to open the receptivity to receive and imbibe the qualities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay. Now, making prostrations, there are so many versions. It's not that only the Tibetan version is correct, others are wrong, Indian version is wrong, Chinese version is wrong. This is not true. All versions are correct. So over the next 6.5 days, we're going to learn. 6.5 days, right? From tomorrow. 2 days not included. Included? Not included. Okay, still a little... Okay. Then after half day gone. Okay, so we still have like 6.5 days. So there we learn about the essence, the fun legacy of the Buddha's teachings. To see everything like a dream. In other words, to wake up from the dream created by ignorance, and thereby you are being freed from the effects of all external factors. So that is the whole purpose of the Buddha Shakyamuni appearing on this earth. And this is what we're going to learn over the next 1 week. 1 week was 6.5 days. Okay. So from this we see the convention that everything is like a dream. I mean, everything is coming from mind. Everything is convention. Once we learn this, then let's say making the prostrations. Making prostrations, they say, as long as there's a feeling of the respect out of admiration, out of feeling the value of the qualities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, any gesture you indicate physically, verbally, mentally, this form is gesture of the prostrations. Okay, So the Chinese version, Indian version, Tibetan version, and the Western version, they're all the same, and there's no difference. The meaning is just the same. So the Tibetan version has it that, okay, let's say that the two hands put together and the two thumbs go inside. How many of you know this? You know this already, right? Okay, go together. So there's so many these explanations to make it very quick. Say, inside is hollow indicating the emptiness, and outside there's a form, physical form there, form of jewel meaning the precious thing, and when you look at this world, to see what is really precious in this world, we see that it is the Bodhicitta, unconditional love of Bodhicitta. So this Bodhicitta is the jewel. Just as if you have a jewel, if you have the wish fulfilling gem, it helps us to fulfill your aspirations. Likewise, if you have the Bodhicitta, this will help you to accomplish the final aspiration that you have. That is the Buddhahood. You can achieve this Buddhahood because of this Bodhicitta. So this, the outer the symbol is the jewel, Avalokiteshvara. Here Avalokiteshvara. So the two hands pressed together, inside there is a jewel. So this jewel is symbolic of Bodhicitta. Okay, so this external figure symbolizes Bodhicitta. Internal, hollow, it symbolizes the wisdom of emptiness. It is through the combination of the wisdom of emptiness and Bodhicitta that you can accomplish your goal of enlightenment, Buddhahood. Okay, this is, now the point is, where should you touch this? We touch this, there are several versions. One is you touch at the 4 spots, or touch the 3 spots. Both are correct. It's not that one is right and the other is wrong. Right? So, if 4 spots, then the crown, then the forehead, throat, and the heart. 4 spots. 4 spots, why? The crown is considered to be very important because when each one of us, when we become a Buddha ourselves, so we perform deeds of benefiting other beings through this crown. Of course, we perform deeds of benefiting beings from all aspects, not necessarily from the crown, but this crown is considered as very important, and to say acquire the merit to get this, to attain this crown, to accomplish this crown, it requires a tremendous amount of merit. So this crown is considered very important. So when we touch this area, we are like activating the seed of attaining the crown when you become Buddha. 1. Then number 2, the forehead. The forehead again. Forehead, there is actually a bindu, a dot there. This is actually not really a dot. It's the hair. It's the hair, divine hair of Buddha. So this hair, it is a sign of beauty. It's a sign of beauty in the Indian context. So this hair, so actually from this, when you become Buddha, what you do is that you emanate light, nectars, and powers to all the, particularly the Bodhisattvas who are on the verge to become Buddhas. Bodhisattvas from the 10 Bhumi who are on the verge to become Buddhas. So through this, you empower the Bodhisattvas to become enlightened. So this plays a very important role. Again, this is the spot which is so important part of the Buddha's body. So when you touch this area, it is activating the seed of your achieving this in the bindu at the forehead. Then the throat, say, of all the deeds of the Buddhas, these of the Buddhas can be classified into 3 categories. The bodily, verbal, and mental, or physical, verbal, and mental. And physical, so what are the deeds of the physical? The physical deeds of the Buddha is to perform miracles. Perform miracles like flying and the emanating things and so forth. So for us, for the beginners meaning somebody who is not at all exposed to the real concepts or the real understanding of the actual benefit and so forth. So for them, it is just something visual. visual emanation, levitating the air, and so forth. These are something which entice or lures the people, commoners. So that is the physical. But say, even if somebody performs this miracle, flying in the air, so what do we benefit? We don't benefit anything out of this. Do you agree with me? Even if I levitate in the air now, 2 feet high in the air, right? All these traffic blocks will happen tomorrow. 100% traffic blocks will happen. All people from France, Paris will just flock here, right? But what do you get? This is the question. What do you get? You will get only one thing, wow. You will say wow and finish. You don't get nothing. You don't get anything. You're getting it? So there's a physical, say, the deeds are more just to make you be attracted towards the person. Once you're attracted, then what happens is that the speech, the teachings benefit. So of the 3 deeds, and the mental deeds, we can't really directly get access to the mental deeds, because mental communication, the Buddhas, we cannot really communicate with the Buddha through the mental. So what really benefits us in true sense is, of course we will learn later, is the speech. So when we touch this area, the thought, it is activating the seed of the speech, perfect speech of the Buddha. That is the... Then number 3 is at the heart. So this heart, this is extremely important. So the heart is the place where the mind finally rests. So therefore, when you touch this area, then the seed of the Buddha's mind, omniscient mind, is activated. Okay, so it's for this reason 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is one way of doing it. Otherwise, some people just do it 3 times. Say the crown or the forehead. You choose one. Either like this or like this. 1. Then number 2, throat and heart. So if you do 3 times, then the crown or the forehead, it symbolizes activating the divine deeds of the Buddha, physical deeds of the Buddha. Then the throat, the speech, and the heart, the mind. So body, space, mind. So this is ways and means to activate. And the more we learn about the Buddha's, say, the qualities of the body, speech, and mind, more we are aware when we make persuasions, touching these things, more we are aware. Subconsciously, we are constantly activating. Whereas if your knowledge of the Buddhist philosophy is so less, then even if you touch it 100,000 times, the benefit is going to be much less. Okay, so this is one thing. Then, as you prostrate, whether you want to do it full length prostration or let's say just half length prostration, that's up to the individual. And from tomorrow morning, we're going to do the prostrations. So making prostrations, what I would suggest is some people they simply don't take care of their knees. Okay, finally, even this flooring, the floor is very good. Otherwise, oftentimes the floor is bare cement, and you just throw the weight on the cement, and then the knees are affected. Knees affected. Finally, when you reach like age 60, 70, 80, then your knees are badly affected. So therefore, I'm pleading that when you make prostration, make sure that your knees are well protected. Always keep some cushions underneath your knees. And don't think that, okay, the more I injure myself, the more the purification happens, right? It's fine. But later on, after 50, 60 years, when I do purification, if your knees are affected, right? So therefore, make sure that your knees are safeguarded. 1. Okay, so when we make prostrations, what is so important is not just make prostrations. Make prostration, visualization, thought processes that accompanies the prostration. That is so important. Otherwise, say somebody who's very learned, knowledgeable, and who really knows how to practice Dharma so well, make just one prostration, and somebody who does the prostration for 100,000 times. If you compare the merit between the two, the one with the knowledge, and the full import of the dharma and making one prostration, a married accumulate that person far excels others accumulate the prostrating like whole 1 year, several 100,000 times of prostrations. The one person making prostration one time, that is more meritorious. Okay, for that matter, so what makes the difference is not necessarily the physical actually hardship. Physical hardship is important, but what is more important is the thought processes while you make prostrations. So one is to whom you are making prostrations. Prostration, as I said earlier, is the expression of your respect. To whom are you showing the respect? You are showing respect to whom? One. Then for whom? Number two things. To whom is the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, right? Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, particularly say Bodhicittas, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That is very important. And then when you make prostrations, instead of just thinking of one figure, like one Buddha or one teacher, you think of the sky filled with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And besides Bodhicittas, and then all the enlightened beings that you are aware of, you can visualize them, and otherwise you can think of the whole sky filled with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And how you do that, how you visualize, that is very important. How you visualize them. You visualize them as your very affectionate parents, and the feeling of that the child, when one sees the parents after like the whole 1 year being in the school, when you see the parents, what is the feeling of the love and affection going through the child? So that is exactly how we should be visualizing all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, like this affectionate parents. Okay. Then whom you are making prostrations is for all the dear mother sentient beings, for yourself and for all your dear mother sentient beings. Okay. So imagine your two parents on the two sides, and all family members, including children, and everyone around you, and imagine everyone's making prostration. So thereby, you make one prostration, you do this visualization. If you visualize infinite number of beings, the benefit multiplies infinite number of beings. Just do one time, and then that multiplies infinite number. So look, this is how. If you know how to do these things in the sensible way, then how they accumulate merit. We can just within say like one gesture of reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, one gesture of making prostration, just one time, that just suffices accumulating enormous amount of merit. So these are the skillfulness that we need to learn. One. The next, from tomorrow morning, we will also make offerings of the lights. So light, from what we're going to learn the next 6.5 days, we're going to learn that finally the purpose of our Bodhicitta retreat, the purpose of your attending His Holiness the Dharma's teachings, the purpose of your being a part of the Dharma practice, the practice of the union, practice of prostrations, and so forth. Finally, it is to discover the treasure of ultimate happiness within you. This treasure within you. That is to be discovered. So, for that matter, that is why this treasure is there, why it is not visible at this moment, is because that is obscured by the mental defilements. And the mental defilements, from tomorrow we'll learn that mental defilements, the worst of which is either in the form of the very gross ignorance, precisely self-grasping ignorance, or the subtle stains of this self-grasping ignorance. Ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, or the subtle stains of the self-grasping ignorance. So, given that this is the mental defilements which stops us from unraveling the treasure inside. So, how to get rid of the mental defilements? So, because that the ignorance and the subtle stains obscure the treasure, so it is by introducing the counterforce. And the counterforce is the wisdom, the light of the wisdom. So when you offer light, just offering light and just you say like fold your two hands on your forehead, that doesn't really say anything. right? So whereas when you're lighting the candle, imagine that you are lighting the candle of the wisdom. You are lighting the candle of the wisdom, the light of the wisdom. Light of the wisdom to dispel the darkness of self-grasping ignorance, to dispel the darkness of self-centered attitude. This is what we need to visualize. And as you do this, you see if you can imagine that you are now activating the wisdom of emptiness within yourself, activating the wisdom of emptiness within all dear Mother sentient beings, including your two parents, all the family members, your children, and everyone, all dear Mother sentient beings. They're tiny, how many, say there are 7 billion human beings on this earth, 7 billion human beings, and then animals, how many animals are there, how many insects are there, how many, the tiny insects, then the local spirits, then the celestial beings, then the Holy Ghost, the hell beings. Just think of all of them for the first time, because of your sensibility, because of your kindness, that their darkness, the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, and the darkness of the subtle stains of the self-grasping ignorance, they're all eliminated, and that they, for the first time, they experience the bounties of happiness eternally. So this is what we should visualize. Okay, this light offering. This is very important. And as part of light offering, there's one stanza here. And in English, it says what is that? With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all liberty and misery's gloom. So this is stanza. It should be there in French, right? So we will, as we light this, it doesn't matter. So tomorrow, as we light the candle on the afternoon prostrations, as we light this, then we will recite this together. Okay. So how many of you don't speak Spanish? No. Who only depends on English? Who only knows English? Okay, 1, 2, myself 3. Okay, 3, right? Okay, so we will say this in the French. Not Spanish, sorry. I said Spanish? Sorry, French. Okay, we'll say this in French, right? And the others, the English dependent, three of us will say in the English and also in Tibetan. Okay, so this is what, as we say this, again, same thing. It's just not just a ritual. So we see that make offerings, the light offerings, incense offerings, prostrations, they fall under the category of rituals. And oftentimes, not knowing the meaning, they emphasize so much on the ritual, and then the meaning gets lost. Whereas, if you know the Dharma so well, knowing the meaning so well, then the rituals have benefit, and when you know up to what point I can go for the rituals, up to what point ritual is totally irrelevant, right? We'll know this. And then total obsession with rituals will be cut down, and you will come to eventually. Even somebody asked me in Singapore, somebody asked me about this. Okay, His Holiness the Dalai Lama also believes in rituals. He said, this is what he asked. And I said, and of course, there's nothing wrong with rituals. But overemphasis of rituals, not knowing the meaning, that is the way we go wrong. Right? Rituals, for example, okay, the Albert Einstein is going to give a lecture, right? So you have to bring your book and your books and your notebooks and your pen. This is also ritual, right? To bring a book and a pencil. Otherwise, you can bring a piece of paper, right? So that also becomes a ritual. But the point is that if you lose the meaning, and then the ritual is just left, right? Oftentimes, which is easier to be lost? Ritual or the meaning of the ritual? Meaning of the ritual is much, much easier to be lost. Oftentimes, this is what happens, right? Okay, so therefore, if you know the meaning of this, again the same thing, the benefit that you're going to accrue. First, okay, the more details will the we share from tomorrow onwards. Okay, so light offering, we'll say this verse in French as we make the offerings, and when we make the offerings, okay, the number is very small, it doesn't really matter as much. In other places, the number is huge, so therefore we have to finish it faster, otherwise so much of time is getting lost. Okay, this thing. Then the next, okay, this book, right? The book, the handout. The handout is expected to be for all the classes. We need this handout, and for all the meals, 3 meals, we need the handout. So then the idea is that, particularly during the 3 meals, the handout on the food offering. Food offering. Every time you eat a food, you take a meal. If you offer this to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so that has a tremendous benefit, and particularly you connect yourself to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And in what way you connected? Because that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, what I want is I want to become like them. And why they are so special? Because they are perfect in 3 qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. And why these 3? These we'll discuss later on. Okay, so this is how we connect ourselves, seek inspiration from Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So for that matter, the more we connect ourselves, our mind becomes more tuned to this, our mind becomes more habituated. So our mind becomes more receptive to the qualities to be imbibed from Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, for that matter, food offering. Then along with food offering, and since what I've learned is that many of the texts which we have here, we could not find them in French. So therefore, don't worry. What you do is that whatever is available there in the handout, we will recite from this after the food offering. No, first we recite the text, like 20 stanzas one time. 20 stanzas, not too long, 20 stanzas, and then we do the food offering stanza, 3 stanzas, right? Okay. Then the 20 stanzas, while we are reading this 20 stanzas, we just keep reading it. You just keep going down. First 20 stanzas, the next 20 stanzas, followed by the next 20 stanzas. This is what we're going to do. Why we're doing this is that, say the class that we have is just for 6.5 days. Right? So while we go through this class, the text which we're going to read, like 20 stanzas, every meal, these texts, this subject matter is exactly what we study over the next 6.5 days. So how I present it is going to be like the main ingredients, and then as you read this text, these texts were composed by the highly enlightened beings. So how they structure them, right? You are actually having if you're able to read this in a meaningful way, to the best you can, by understanding to the best you can, then although the class that we did is like 6.5 days, that suffices like doing, let's say, 1 month retreat, right? The class plus reading the text together, going together, right? See, vis-a-vis. Then the benefit is that it suffices attending the retreat for like whole 1 month. This is a benefit that you can feel. So therefore, reading of this text is so important. So what I would suggest is, to the best you can, don't miss reading the text along with the group. Okay. Then the group discussion. We're expecting, the group discussion, there are 2 kinds. One which is mandatory, and the evening group discussion after dinner group discussion, that is optional. But what I would suggest is that, because that the duration is so less, 6.5 days, I would suggest that try your best to make it for the evening after dinner group discussion as well. So in group discussions, they will be very helpful to invoke, to clarify, and many ideas which you may not be expecting, they come up. Okay. And then say group discussion, what I would suggest is that say if possible, try to whatever has been covered in the class, particularly those of you who already attended the Bodhicitta retreat before, or other retreats with me before, like say Nicholas is here, then we have Oceana there, then we have Maria there, then we have Mark there, then we have, where is Eric? Eric is here, then we have Alex here, and then Capucina here, and who else? And here Daniel. Okay, Frizz, I think. Okay, Frizz is there. So in fact, to do the retreat with the senior participants, that makes our work so easy. So what I'm saying is that whatever the class we did, right? Whatever class, for example, we are doing the third day. Whatever we covered the first 3 days, you can bring them up. First bring them up. You may have your, say, the additional questions and so forth. First try to finish what we've covered. The first day, second day, third day. What we've covered, don't try to go too beyond that. Right? Because the newcomers, they may get lost. Right? And some of you it may be your first time with me, but you have already studied a lot from other teachers. Still, what I would suggest is that try to stay in this border. Try to finish what we've covered, right? Say if you're doing the second day. So what we've covered the first 2 days, try to finish that. Once you finish that, then you can go into more detailed questions. Whatever you have, you can go there. Because to help the newcomers. Why I'm saying this is that if we're not able to let newcomers come along with you, then your pace of progress will be so less. What I noticed is that amongst the newcomers, they are brilliant ones. Because if they're able to catch up what they've already learned, then they may play an instrumental role in making the group discussions go so fast, at a faster pace. So therefore, that is extremely important. Group discussion. And group discussion, usually the trend is that for example, the phrase and all others particularly who attended the retreats with me, they know so well that say how many groups we're going to split? 3 groups. Okay, 3 groups. Say everybody will get a chance to lead the group. Lead the group is not a good job. It's to say no to others, right? So that is a difficult job. So your job is to give a chance to as many people to speak, right? And don't let somebody just run the whole show, right? That is very important. 1. And number 2 is that just with a very small point, it is not necessary that everything should be decided on that very day. Even the UN cannot decide everything. UN resolution cannot be resolved just on one day, right? So what we do is that, okay, if things are not getting so clear, you're pretty confident, then you stop there. Okay, let's keep this for the time being here, and then let's move to the next point, right? So at least you try to finish the topics that are covered in the class, and then if things are not getting clear, right, then you can bring up in the class, you make a note, you send a note to me, or you can directly answer in the class, right? So these things can be done. Okay. Then the morning practice, like 2 hours. 2 hours, this is so important. But when I say it is very important, why I'm saying that it is very important is that you will get a picture. You'll get a picture of how to design your daily practice. How to design a daily practice for yourself, right? So throughout your life, okay, now I get the full picture. Okay, what I should be doing? the teachings that I get from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, empowerments that I get from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, from this teacher, from that teacher, this teacher, that. Okay, so this will all go into this. This is the main pattern. So you know the pattern of how to practice on a daily basis. Even if you're to be by yourself, you'll know how to practice it. So that's going to be extremely beneficial. Yet, if you have health issues, health issues, then don't force yourself where you need more rest, particularly if you feel it very exhausting. I'm sure it's going to be a little intense, but this is not really too much. It's bearable. But should you have health issues, don't force yourself. Be gentle on yourself, and even if you have to take more rest. So what we suggest is that you may say of the 6.5 days, the 7 days, you may make at least like 2, the morning sessions. Those who have no health issues, and then no excuse. Okay, no health issues, no excuse. Okay, so this is the one thing that we need to keep in mind. Okay, then as I said earlier, the classes, and I would suggest that usually people say the retreats, it should be a silent retreat. No, Bodhicitta retreat, the Buddhas say what are we going to learn from tomorrow is 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1. I can say 5, but I'm deliberately saying it 4 plus 1. Right? Because there are 4 points. One is the renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, and the single-pointed meditation, shamatha. 4. Number 1 is tantra. 4 plus 1, 1 is tantra. Okay, so the 1 will come automatically later. Don't just jump into it. Right? So we should be very serious with the point 4 points. And these 4 points, the uniqueness of of course, the single point meditation is one thing, which this also we're going to learn. And then the renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, it requires a tremendous activation of your mind. For the activation of mind, the interactive discussions. So that is extremely precious. Extremely precious. Finally, your mind should be so active, and of course from tomorrow we'll learn as to how the activity of mind, the need for our mind to be so active and agile and dexterous. That is required. So for that purpose, the retreat that we do is that of course we have to just keep aside all the idle gossips. Keep aside all the idle gossips. Say when we meet, we discuss more. Finally, the wisdom has to be activated. And for that, the wisdom, it requires 2 things. Wisdom should have 2 qualities. One is that the wisdom which is analogous to the light. The light must be very bright. The brightness of the light is analogous to the analytical meditation. This analysis that will help us to make our mind very bright and very sharp. And then, while the light is very bright, but if the light is flickery, it doesn't serve the benefit of, for us to read books and so forth. For that matter, the light must be very steady. It should be very bright, at the same time it should be very steady. So the brightness is given to us by the analytical meditation, for which we have to constantly think. And in fact, others, we can, through interaction, which can help each other. Mutually, we can help each other to enhance the activity of the sharpness of the mind. Then, for the steadiness of the mind, we need a single-pointed meditation. 2 things. Okay, so for this reason, for the Bodhicitta retreat, I deliberately say that it's not going to be a silent meditation. But after the evening optional group discussion, till tomorrow morning breakfast, silence. Meaning silence. Because After the group discussion, optional group discussion, till tomorrow morning, then the people may go into the gossips. In the daytime, going to gossip is going to be much less. Because after group discussion, then people go into to retire into the mostly they'll go to their own rooms, and then if people, 2 people, 3 people meet, they go into gossips. So therefore, to avoid that, silence till the next morning from the evening optional discussion. Okay. Now, to make things easier tomorrow. Okay. Just turn to the page. Okay, the first one, which is the preliminary prayers. Okay. There's the stanzas which we're going to read. The stanzas which we're going to read, I'm going to give a very, very quick overview of why we are using these stanzas, passages, and the text for the morning practices. Okay, just quick overview. And the stanzas, some of the stanzas I'll explain day by day, and some stanzas can be explained only after being introduced to emptiness. Without being introduced to emptiness, then there's some stanzas, even if I have to explain this to you, it's going to be very tiring for you and for me also. Right? Okay. So these stanzas we will say. Okay. Page 6. Page 6 meaning of Ye Dharma Mantra. Ye Dharma Mantra will say Ye Dharma Mantra. Which page?
4.
Page 4?
In French.
In French, page 4. In English, it's page 6. Okay. Ye Dharma. Okay, I'll quickly explain this. The meaning is given there at the base, but word meaning. Word meaning, I'm going to give you very quickly. Om. Syllable Om. This syllable Om is a very common syllable as a part of the mantra used in Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. Om. So this syllable Om is a syllable which is consisted of 3 letters. A, U, Ma. The 3 letters. A, U, Ma. And these 3 letters, they symbolize the body, speech, and the mind. Body, speech, mind of us, the ordinary beings, and the body, speech, mind of the enlightened beings. So when you recite this Om, this should be a reminder for us that I should transform this body, speech, and mind. I should transform this body, speech, and mind that I have into the very pure body, speech, and mind of the enlightened beings. This is what we should be reminded of when you recite the syllable Om. Now the next question is how to do this? How to transform this body, speech, mind that I have, which are defiled, body, speech, mind that we have. How can we transform this into the enlightened body, speech, and mind? How can we do that? That is by being mindful of the following the mantra. Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tadagato Hyavata Desham Jayu Niruddha Evam Vadi Ma Shramana Svaha. Okay. So it says Ye Dharma. Ye Dharma means these phenomena. Ye Dharma. These phenomena. These phenomena, the phenomena of, particularly the phenomena of suffering. What do we dislike? The suffering. What do we like? Happiness. So whether it is happiness or the suffering, they don't arise randomly. They don't arise causelessly. So they all arise by dependence. By dependence on the respective causes. Ye Dharma, these phenomena, particularly the phenomena of suffering, Ye Dharma, Hetu Prabhava. Hetu means cause. Hetu Prabhava. Prabhava means arise, originate. These phenomena of suffering, they arise, they originate by dependence on the causes. Hetu, cause. Hetu, Prabhava. Hetu means plural form of the cause. Hetum, tesham, these causes. Tathagato. Tathagato is the Buddha. Tathagato. Hyavatat means said or taught. What are the causes of these? What are these causes is taught by the Tathagata, by the Buddha. Hyavatat. Tesham chayo. Tesham chayo is these, referring to these causes. Tesham chayo nirodha. Nirodha is cessation, coming to an end of these causes. How to bring an end to these causes of this suffering? Evam. Evam is thus. Vadi is again taught by Mahashamana. Maha is the great, Shamana is a saint. Is taught by the great saint. How to bring an end to the cause of these miseries is taught by the great saint. Ye Swaha. Ye Swaha is this is established as thus. This is established. Okay, so the meaning is these phenomena arise from causes, and the causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. This is the meaning. Okay, so this is an extremely important mantra. And say when you go to new places by aeroplane, from the aeroplane you see so many millions of people are just underneath your side. When then you go by car, you go by train, the MRT. How many people, how many beings are there? And just imagine how many of them have heard this mantra, Ye Dharma, Ye Dharma. So less. So it would be so kind if you can recite this mantra for them, connecting them to the teachings of Buddha. Ye Dharma, you recite this. Okay. And this mantra is something common to the Theravada Buddhism, Chinese Mahayana Buddhism, and Tibetan Buddhism. For all the three Buddhist traditions, this mantra is common. Right? And this mantra, if you know how to interpret this mantra so well, you understand Buddhism. You understand the Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism, you understand the Tibetan Buddhism, you understand the Chinese Buddhism. Okay. Okay, then what we do is that, then we turn to the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. In English, page 14. French, page 14. Okay, praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. When we read this, it is not just to make the Buddha happy. To praise the Buddha, it is not just to make the Buddha happy. Whether we say the praise or we don't say the praise, for Buddha there's no difference. Then why we say this praise is, when we say the praise to the Buddha Shakyamuni, you indicate the qualities of the Buddha. Buddha, you are so great because you have these qualities. Just see as you recite this, just see if the qualities mentioned there, you have some of these qualities. Just see if you have these qualities. If you have, rejoice, and then see how to nurture them further, how to improve them further. If you don't have these qualities, no need to worry. Just knowing that these are the qualities on the basis of which somebody can become Buddha. So therefore, I will also try to cultivate these qualities and will improve them further. Okay, this is the reason why we are reciting this. Okay, this is the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Then next we turn to page 29, Heart Sutra. Same, Heart Sutra, page 29. Okay, Heart Sutra. I'll quickly give you the overview of this. Okay, today is going to be a little late, don't worry. Alright? Otherwise, so if we finish this, then from tomorrow we can just flow with the practice, and then we will be able to do the retreat or the teachings on time. Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra, from the very title, Heart Sutra. Of all the teachings of Buddha, Heart Sutra is the essence of all the teachings of the Buddha. So, how it happened was that in Rajgir, how many of you have been to Rajgir? Raise your hands. How many have been to Rajgir? Okay, most of us have been to Rajgir. So there, in Rajgir, the Bodhicittas, they went there, and the legend has it. The legend has it that the Bodhicittas went there, followed by his disciples, the monks, the bodhisattvas, and the lay devotees there, the monks, nuns, devotees there. Then the bodhisattvas from the other galaxies, other world systems. Milky Way galaxy, there are so many world systems there. Likewise, there are innumerable galaxies. From the other world systems, from the many other galaxies, the bodhisattvas come to know that the Bodhisattva is going to teach Heart Sutra. And vultures speak, so they emanated themselves in the form of vultures, and they took flight to the planet Earth to receive teachings from the Buddha on Heart Sutra. So, the peak came to be known as the Vulture's Peak. So this is one of the legends. So the point is that the Bodhisattvas, the Bodhisattva presided over the gathering, then the Aravalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Aravalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of Compassion, and then the Shariputra, two of them were there, and then they surrounded by all the Bodhisattvas, the monks, nuns, lay devotees, they were all there. So then the Bodhisattva then emerged into emptiness, immense ultimate reality. And Aravalokiteshvara, he was also reflecting, contemplating on emptiness. And Bodhisattva, because that he was immersed into meditative experience, but being a Buddha, he is able to have access to both the truths simultaneously. Ultimate truth, which is deep in emptiness, and then the condensed truth, that access to the world. Whereas for us, before we become Buddhas, we cannot have access to the two truths simultaneously. We cannot have the direct access to the two truths simultaneously. If you are directly into emptiness, seeing the emptiness directly, you cannot have access to the world. If you have access to the world, you cannot see emptiness directly. So we have to do these two things consecutively for the non-Buddhas. Whereas when you become Buddha, then you get access to the two truths simultaneously, direct access to the two truths simultaneously. So Buddha Shakyamuni, while being immersed into the emptiness, he then inspired Shariputra to ask questions to Aravalokiteshvara. So Shariputra stood up, made prostrations to Buddha Shakyamuni, turned towards Aravalokiteshvara, made prostrations to him, and then asked a question. So the question I asked is, okay, so here, as to the Santa Heart Sutra, what is very important is that 3 things not to miss. 3 points not to miss, as to the Santa Heart Sutra. 1, what is the question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokiteshvara? 1. Number 2, what is the response given by Aravalokiteshvara to Shariputra? Number 2. Number 3, what is the benefit if we practice the wisdom of emptiness as indicated by Aravalokiteshvara? What is the benefit? 3 points. So the question asked by Shariputra is, how should the child of a lineage train in the professional wisdom? This is the question asked. Meaning that child of a lineage, say in the olden times, I think France also same, right? France, there were so many kings in the past, right? And the Dutch also, the Holland, so many kings in the past, not now. German kings. Yes. Okay. So in Europe there were so many kingdoms, kings and so forth. Okay. In those days, the prince is considered as very important. Why? Because the prince is the one who is going to become the king. So therefore, he is considered as very important. You agree with me? In those days, not now. You agree? Right? Prince, they are considered very important because they hold the lineage of the king. They hold the lineage of the king, and they will become king eventually. So, child of the lineage. How should the child of the lineage practice the wisdom of emptiness, wisdom of the perfection? Here, the child of the lineage. This lineage is not the lineage of the kings. It's the lineage of the Buddhas. By the way, tell me, which lineage is more important? Lineage of the king or the lineage of the Buddhas? Naturally, of course. This is the most important lineage. And although we are not in the lineage of the kings, don't worry. We can easily become the lineage of the Buddhas. Anybody who cultivate a feeling that may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So the young prince is saying that may I become a king, right? So that he becomes the lineage holder of the king. Whereas anybody who says may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, automatically you become the lineage, you fall in the lineage of the Buddhas. So you become a son of the lineage, daughter of the lineage. This is so precious. Okay, so once you haven't become the lineage holder of the Buddhas, child of the lineage, what should you practice? You have to practice something so that you actually become Buddha. How to become Buddha? It is by Buddhahood is inside each one of us. Each one of us, we have the Buddhahood within us. So that is obscured by the mental departments. So we have to remove the mental departments. Buddhahood, we don't have to get it from outside. It's inside us. It's already there. Remove the dirt and the gold mixed with the soil. Remove the soil and the gold will automatically glow. Likewise, remove the metal dirt and the Buddhahood inside will come out. So that is your job. So what is your job? To remove the metal dirt. How to remove the metal dirt? What we learned earlier? Through igniting the light of the wisdom. Right? So, how to practice the light of the wisdom? This is what the question asked by Shariputra. Then Aravalukeshvara, he gave detailed explanation of how to practice the wisdom of emptiness. So therefore, Buddhism, if you really want to appreciate one, okay, so maybe a little not really digression, but it's very important as saying the study of this retreat. What is your retreat? And attending any teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, attending any teachings of your teachers, whatever. So there, don't forget the two things: agenda of your life, the purpose of your life. Two, right? Purpose of life. Two things. One, be kind to yourself. Don't forget it. One, be kind to yourself. Number one. Number two, be wisely kind to yourself. Not just kind to yourself, but wisely kind to yourself. These two things, don't forget. Right? So, Buddhism should not be embraced for the sake of becoming Buddhist, but for the sake of these 2 points. Be wisely kind, be kind to yourself, and be wisely kind to yourself. Okay, tell me. So these 2 agendas applicable to whom? To Buddhists or non-Buddhists? French or Germans or the Dutch or the Indians or the Tibetans? Applicable to whom? Everybody. Okay. Everybody. So therefore, right? Let us not forget these 2 things. Be kind to yourself. Be wisely kind to yourself. So from tomorrow what we are learning is how to be wisely kind to ourselves. Some people, right? Some people, I attended Gueshe Damdul's retreat, Bodhicittas retreat. And what he said is be kind to yourself. Okay, I'm tired today, so I'll be kind to myself, right? I'll go to have a drink in the pubs. Right? This is not being wisely kind. You're trying to be kind to yourself, but it's a very unwise way of being kind to yourself. So be kind to yourself, be wisely kind to yourself. So how to be wisely kind to yourself is ask yourself, what do you want? What's the answer? I want happiness. What don't you want? I don't want suffering. I don't want miseries. I don't want fears. Right? Get rid of all the fears and get yourself the maximum happiness, infinite happiness. That is the meaning of be wisely kind to yourself. And how do you do that? Right? All fears. How to get rid of the fears? Is by the wisdom of emptiness. Fears are because of the ignorance. Get rid of the ignorance by igniting the wisdom of emptiness. Wisdom of emptiness is the most fearless mind. And How to get the maximum happiness. Maximum happiness is given rise to by the maximum love and affection. What's the maximum love and affection? Bodhicitta. So Bodhicitta is the most beautiful mind that possibly exists in this universe. And the wisdom of emptiness is the most fearless mind. Anybody who is able to embrace these two things will have the total freedom from all fears of life and have the infinite happiness. And who seeks that? Total fearlessness and the infinite happiness. Who seeks that? Buddhists or non-Buddhists, or the French or the Indians or the Tibetans? Everybody. Right? So for that matter, the point is that the question asked is, how should a child practice the wisdom of the perfection? Right? This question asked. Then Aravalokteshvara went into detail how to practice wisdom of emptiness. So emptiness. Okay, so this we will discuss later, not now. Then then point number 3. What is the benefit if you practice wisdom of emptiness? Then what happens? All our fears will dissolve. All our fears will dissolve, all our miseries will dissolve. Right? And this wisdom of emptiness, which makes us to dissolve all our fears, this wisdom of emptiness is described as the entrance through which all the Buddhas of the past, present, future traverse towards ultimate happiness. So anybody who wants to become enlightened, there is no way, there is no entrance other than wisdom of emptiness. One has to go through this entrance of the wisdom of emptiness in order to take the journey towards enlightenment. Okay, this is the purpose. Okay, then the next page, the page 32, 8 verse mind training. Page 32. 8 verse of mind training, we are reading it in order to activate the seed of compassion. So finally we come to realize that what we don't want is the fears of life, miseries. This can be best be eradicated by the wisdom of emptiness. And what we like is we want the infinite happiness. Infinite happiness is because of the unconditional love. So 8 verse mind training is primarily to activate the unconditional love. So the opposite of unconditional love is anger. Anger. Unconditional love embraces others, and anger pushes others away from you. So 8 verse mind training is a remedy to overcome anger, remedy to overcome our self-centered, self-referential ego. Okay, so for that matter, when the anger subsides, automatically it leads room for compassionate growth towards others. Okay, next, page 34. 7 in puja. As we're going to read from, is it page 34, is it? Page 34? Yes. As we're going to recite the mantra from Harsutra, Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasambade Buddhiswa. As we recite the mantra there, that is the journey. Finally, what is your journey? What is the journey of your life? Journey of life is to be symbolized, is to be indicated by this mantra. Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasambade Buddhiswa. It means go beyond, go utterly beyond, and establish your ultimate happiness. Okay, go means it's a journey. It's a journey. It's not an external journey, it's a mental journey. It's a mental journey, and this journey has to be done in the form of cleansing the mind, journey of cleansing the mind, to discover the ultimate treasure happens with yourself. So for that matter, this journey is the most noble journey, and of course, because it is so noble, it is there are many obstacles. So how to get into the obstacles? So through the practice of the 7 in puja. 7 puja, right? To say 1, journey involves 2 things. The road must be clear. You agree with me? When I say journey, the road must be clear. If the road is blocked by the boulder, the trees and so forth, you cannot undertake the journey. So road must be clear. After the road clear, then the car should have enough gas. If the car doesn't have gas, even though if the road is so clear, but the car doesn't have gas, again you cannot move. So road must be clear. Road has none other than your mind. Your mind is the road. So mind must be cleared of the mental defilements, negative karmas, and so forth. And the car is none other than your own mind. Your mind is the car. It should have enough fuel of the merit accumulation. So how best to clear the mind of the mental defilements, and how best to accumulate the merits as the fuel for a mind to proceed this journey? It is the 7 in puja. 7 puja: prostrations, make offerings, confession, rejoicing in the virtues of others and yourself, and then request of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to turn the wheel of dharma, request of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to remain till samsara ends, and then finally dedicating the virtues towards the proliferation of the dharma, and so forth. So the 7 puja is to prepare our journey towards enlightenment. Okay, the next, page 37. Short mantle offering. Mantle offering. So here, the mantle offering hand gestures. How many of you know this hand gesture? Mantle offering hand gesture. How many of you don't know the hand gesture? Okay. Okay. If somebody doesn't know that, Nico, I'll request Nico to kindly, somehow organize something. Right? Okay, Nico will have. Not now.
Just to know who.
Okay, yes. Connect people. So. Okay, so the Nico will give you the teachers. Right? Right? Connect people. Right? Hence this is very simple. Okay. So the point is that when we make the offering, it is the hand gesture with the what is that? The 2 ring fingers protruding, indicating the Mount Meru, and the 4 signs indicating the 4 continents and the 8 subcontinents, and all these issues that the Mount Meru is non-existent. What are you offering? All these questions are there. Don't worry. So your job is just imagine that I'm offering anything best that exists in this universe, not only the Mount Meru. Anything best that exists in the universe, I'm offering this to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Just imagine that is good enough. Right? Okay. So after making offering of this, just visualize anything good and slowly make it a habit. Even in your homes, say what we're doing here, make offerings. From this we learn. The whole purpose is for us to learn from this, and then in your home you also do, if you can, do something similar to this. So this is actually the accumulation of merit, the filling gas, filling the car with the gas, accumulating merit. So this is very important. Okay. After making this offering, then you make 2 requests. So 2 requests, not necessary 2 requests, no 1 or 3 or 4. Right? This is how I compiled it on the basis of very standard the teachings, right? So the first set request, you can make any request up to the individual. But what we have designed here, the first one was by Venerable Karmboba, the direct disciple of Jesu Milarepa, the incredibly great saint, who became enlightened within a single lifetime. And his student, Venerable Karmboba, is very comprehensive. So we have to know the meanings. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on a proper path, and so forth. And the next set was actually more like a compilation from my teacher's, the version, my teacher, Venerable Gueshe Damdul. So what he said, I put them together and put them in another set of form. So this is about the renunciation, Bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, and the non-duality of the bliss and emptiness. The 4. Right? Okay. The next, page 39. Okay, sorry. The last, then after offering the mandala, and then making the 2 sets of requests, hand gestures are still there. With this hand gesture, when you say Idam Guru Ratnam Mandalagam Niratyami, what do you do is that? You always made the offering to all Gurus and Bodhisattvas. Now you receive them back in the form of blessings. The Bodhisattvas, imagine that they have already accepted your offering. Now they are giving them back to you in the form of blessings. They are already blessed by them, so they give you. So how do you do that? You dismantle this gesture towards your heart. Towards your Idam Guru Rama Mandala Nirati. So there, when you dismantle this at your heart, you are actually receiving the blessings at your heart. Heart is the place where your subtle mind exists. This subtle mind is which bears the Buddha nature within us. Buddha nature is within that subtle mind. So you receive this in the form of cleansing all the mental departments, energizing with the metal and so forth, in order to activate this Buddha nature within us. Okay, this is the thing. Page 39. The foundation of all good qualities. Okay, so up to this point is the preparation. Up to this point is the preparation of your journey. Now what is the actual journey? Actual journey is the foundation of all good qualities. And this is what Laman Tsongkhapa, he's so beautifully encapsulated in 14 stanzas. So which, in detail, the detailed exposition, you find that in 3 big volumes in English. Lamrim Chemo. 3 big volumes in English, so which he so beautifully condensed into 14 stanzas, which is so lucky, right? Okay, this is what we should be. As we recite these, it should not be just left as for the recitation. We have to make sure that our mind flows in the meaning of these words. Okay. Next, page 42. Okay. Now, let's say the earlier foundation of all good qualities. The earlier one, the immediately preceding the text is more like the theory part for us to reflect on, right? Now the practical part, actual practice, essence of the teaching is this part, page 42. So this, we're going to do what? Shamatha meditation 4 plus 1. For Shamatha practice, what is the form? Shamatha practice, then renunciation, Bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness. So okay, this form. Shamatha practice, renunciation, Bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness. Okay, so this form, we're going to do that. Then doing this form, then we take the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Aspirational Bodhisattva vow, right? Okay, we are so lucky. And for the aspirational Bodhisattva vow, don't panic, don't freak. That okay, aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Again, I've already so many commitments. I haven't even finished this text. Now he's adding more. No commitment. This is the easier one, right? No commitment, so much benefit. No commitment. Who likes that? Everybody, right? With no commitment and you so much benefit. This is the taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, right? So no commitment. What is commitment? Commitment is that to the best I can, I will benefit others. If not, at least I will not harm others. This much, if you can make commitment, is good enough, right? Okay. So we are very fortunate. Okay. With this we finish, right? And then say if possible, from tomorrow, as we read the text, there are the numberings like true attainments, the four moralities, and so forth. So as we come to these points, the footnotes, endnotes are given, numbers are given. You must refer to the endnotes to look for what these say true attainments are, what the four moralities are, all these things. Right? That's very important. Okay, so we are done. This is the orientation course done. So tomorrow morning, see you at 5:45. Right? Okay, we'll do a quick dedication prayer. Oh, yes. Christopher will be more busy. So Chris, say dedication prayer verse 8. Okay, so let's do the Devin prayer. Page 280, I don't think you have it.
Page 280.
And Devin prayer, and it must be there.
Kangri-rawe,
is it there?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, for the endeavoring prayer, say the Christophe will say this. As we say this, let us take the opportunity, because the great Tibetan masters, they say that for all the virtues, for all virtues, we need two things. One activity in the beginning and one at the end. The beginning, setting a proper motivation, and concluding with the proper dedication of the virtues. So these two things: beginning, setting proper motivation, and concluding with the proper dedication of the virtues. Okay, that's very important. So let us dedicate marriage that's gathered, that the wisdom of emptiness and the light of the Bodhicitta flourish in all 10 directions in the minds of all demon sentient beings, so that the darkness of self-grasping ignorance and the darkness of self-centered attitude are got rid of fully, and that they experience the bounties of happiness eternally. And there is also dedicate marriage that's gathered, that is holiness to Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long, and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And may all the great learning centers, such as Gandhin, Sera, Tepung, and all the learning centers of Sakya, Kaikui, Nyingma, Kelu, from the Chinese tradition, from the Theravada tradition, may all they flourish in the activities of study, reflection, meditation, and that these centers be of incredible benefit for the world at large. And that me personally dedicate the merits that's gathered, that each one of you, through concerted effort in the premise of Bodhicitta and wisdom of emptiness, may you soon see the dawn of Bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness, so that each one of you will become such a reliable guide to liberate all demons beings towards ultimate happiness. And may all the centers and the Buddhist centers, such as the Kalachakra Center and all the centers, may they thrive in the activities, may they proliferate in the activities of the disseminating the Dharma, and may the members, the staff members, may the volunteers, may all have the good health, and may the virtues proliferate spontaneously, and may there be so much of harmony wherever in the Buddhist, the centers, for the purpose of proliferating Buddha Dhamma for the humanity. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to the Devin prayer. Christopher will say this. Yes.
Dans la terre pure du Tibet, entourée de montagnes enneigées, vous êtes la source de tout bienfait et de toute joie. Plus fort. Dans la terre pure du Tibet, entourée de montagnes enneigées, vous êtes la source de tout bienfait et de toute joie. Ô Tenzin Gyatso, Avalokiteshvara en personne, puissiez-vous demeurer jusqu'à la fin du samsara. Avec la sagesse de l'incité, du héros Manjushri et à l'instar de Samantabhadra, afin de m'entraîner à suivre leur exemple, je dédie pleinement toutes ces vertus. Je dédie toutes ces racines de vertus avec la dédicace acclamée comme étant la meilleure par les vainqueurs, ainsi à l'aide des 3 temps, afin que je puisse accomplir de bonnes activités. Puisse le précieux esprit d'éveil naître là où il n'est pas né, et là où il est né, puisse-t-il ne pas décliner, mais toujours se répandre. Tant que demeurera l'espace, tant que des rangs en aura trace, puisse-je moi aussi rester pour leur souffrance dissipée. Par les mérites issus de ces actions vertueuses, puisse-je atteindre rapidement l'état de Guru Buddha et mener tous les êtres sans exception vers cet état éveillé. Je dédie les mérites ainsi accumulés à la réalisation des activités, des prières de Bouddha et de Bodhisattva des 3 temps et au maintien du Dharma des Écritures et des réalisations. Puissais-je, au cours de toutes mes existences, par la force de ces mérites, n'être jamais séparé des 4 cycles du Mahayana, et puissais-je accomplir toutes les étapes de la voie, le renoncement, Bodhicitta et la vue parfaite, et les 2 phases. Avec le souhait de libérer tous les êtres, je prendrai toujours refuge jusqu'au cœur de l'éveil en le Bouddha, le Dharma et la Sangha. Inspiré par la sagesse et la compassion, aujourd'hui, en la présence du Bouddha, je génère l'esprit d'éveil pour le bien de tous les êtres. Je prends refuge dans les trois joyaux, je confesse toutes mes négativités individuellement, je me réjouis des vertus de tous les êtres, je maintiens le précieux esprit d'éveil en mon cœur. Vous qui clarifiez toujours plus la voie unissant vacuité et compassion, ô protecteur du Dharma et des êtres du pays des neiges, je prie pour que vos souhaits s'accomplissent spontanément. Puissent les opérations des pensées et actions malsaines, des forces malignes, humaines et non humaines qui prennent une apparence malveillante à cause de prières perverties faites à l'encontre du Bouddha Dharma, être totalement vaincues par le pouvoir de vérité des trois joyaux. Puissais-je, au cours de toutes mes existences, n'être jamais séparé de mon parfait maître, bénéficier de la magnificence du Dharma, et après avoir parachevé les qualités des terres et des chemins, puissais-je atteindre rapidement l'état de Vajradhara. Au cours de toutes mes existences à venir, puissais-je être guidé par Arya Manjushri et être capable, même au prix de ma vie, de détenir le Dharma en général et les enseignements sur l'interdépendance en particulier.
Okay, in English, we will turn to page 281. Page 281. Okay, no, sorry, 280. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful generous ends in Gyatso, please remain unpleasant until it ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samadvata too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow the perfect example. I dedicate all these fruits of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appeared in the three realm times, so that I might perform noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanjo sanjo reyam boche, magye banam je gyurchi, gyava nyamba mebayam, kone as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I truly remain to dispel the misery of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain to the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into an enlightened state. I dedicate the merits thus gathered to twist the realization, the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of mind and vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, until and unreached full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge in the triple gem, I confess the negativities individually, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protected Buddha, Dharma, and the beings of the snowland. With the lotus soul that tends in Yasu, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who help our manage through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be truly vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stations on the path, may good attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of the dependent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, 3 prostrations together.